Hey Davey, how you doing? Hey Hassan, hope you guys are well. Just looking at what the market's got going today. Just refine this over here. Morning, Anchor. Did anyone else get in on pound CHF this week from the watch list? Is there anything you guys are looking at or watching? Just get rid of this, that's kind of gone. We've had a break back above. Yeah, I'll have a look at gold. Hey Jake, how you doing? So gold is a bit kind of all over the place. It's gonna get just gonna stop this. What's this? So I'm just gonna go on a clean chart here. So gold, again, pretty much you can see we know we're in a daily pullback because we had a break of structure here on a 4 hour. You know, we broke the 4 hour here, so we currently have our daily range, which, like I said, I could see probably gold over the next couple of weeks heading down towards 1860 kind of region, fill out this imbalance and mitigate this. Now on a 4 hour, we can see that zone that we had marked up. We had a change of character here on the 4 hour on gold. So now we currently have this kind of range we're working with. There's our 4 hour impulsive. There was our change of character that we had. And then after that, we've kind of just pretty much been sideways. So we did have this area of demand. Now kind of refined this demand zone down slightly on a lower time frame. But if I come across here, this is TradingView, Jake. You can get the free version, but you're limited in terms of how many windows you can have and what you can kind of do. And it has adverts, so they have like subscription based. They usually do quite a few offers in terms of yearly plans and stuff like that, but it's called TradingView. I'll put it into the chat. So yeah, so then we had gold coming into this kind of range. So we mitigated this area of demand, which is quite a strong demand. So we bounced into this last week. Obviously, we caught this trade over here. So eToro basically is a broker, and they have their own platform. If you're talking about TradingView is for charting and doing your analysis. So from a analysis perspective and to mark up your charts, absolutely. If you're talking about a broker, TradingView isn't an actual broker. You can connect specific brokers up to TradingView to execute your trades. Where eToro is a platform where they're a broker and they have the marking up your charts. But from a chart perspective, yeah, TradingView is phenomenal. But if you're talking about broker wise to execute your trades, there's definitely better brokers out there than eToro. Not that I'm bashing them or anything, but there's much better brokers out there that you can get better spreads and better deals than eToro for sure. So I'd highly recommend TradingView if you do your charting and stuff, most definitely. So yeah, so gold kind of came into this range here, and no worries at all. So gold kind of came down here, and obviously we kind of caught a trade within this region, this kind of pullback. But after this, we've pretty much been sideways. You know, if we kind of look at it and we kind of go down to the 15-minute chart, and we kind of see what gold really did. So gold had this change of character. We had a pullback. We did. Let's just zoom into this. Can I even see this? Yeah, so we broke the low over here, and then we kind of had this retracement, and then we just kind of crashed over here. You know, so we're working within a massive range on gold. So as price kind of came back here, all it did over here was break internal structure when we had this push up. So this push above never really broke any significant structure any higher. Then we came down here, we fell to take out this previous low that was formed over here, and then we had this push up. Now when we had this push up, you could see there wasn't really much confidence in long-term buyers from here, because you could see we created an internal equal high here. Like this never really broke above any, you know, even though this high is internal because it didn't really achieve anything. This is internal because it failed to take out the significant low, and then this high didn't really close above this with any real conviction. So gold is pretty much been in this sideways region since the last couple of days. So, you know, so I kind of took a bit of an aggressive jump entry here this morning, purely because obviously yesterday we had FOMC meeting minutes and they were quite of a mixed bag minutes. They didn't categorically say no, they're not looking to raise interest rates. It was like a 50-50 split. They said they're going to look out for the data and see what the data kind of says, but there were some FOMC members that were gearing towards increasing interest rates. So because of it being a mixed bag, currently what the market had priced in was categorically no interest rate rise. So now that there's a mixed sentiment, there was some bullish momentum that we saw from that yesterday. So we saw gold kind of prematurely sell off, and then the news kind of came in, and things like pound USD kind of started to sell off. Euro USD started to sell off. A lot of pairs started to sell off, and you can see DXY started to have a nice push to the top side. But then gold kind of came into this range, and if we look at it, you know, we had this indecision candle. If I mark this over here, so we had this indecision candle before we had this push up. Now again, I understand all of this is internal, so by no means was I looking to take a trade and try to ride the entire momentum. I just saw this price consolidate within this region overnight, so we failed to break this. So here we've created a internal high which failed to take out the previous low. So there was the lowest low, higher low, you know, we failed to break the previous high, and then we came down, so we failed to take this and this. So when price kind of did this, I was like, right, there's probably some sort of a trading opportunity here, and partials were taken for me up over here, because you can see there's this level of supply that we have here that was unmitigated yet. So when I took the trade during London session, pre-London this morning, it was over here. So if I go to the 15-minute chart, so you can see as price was coming down, kind of created a low, pullback, we created a low, there was that supply, we came down. As we failed to break this low and we started to reject up here, I entered. Now knowing it's a bit of an aggressive entry, I looked at the higher time frame, and you could see on the higher time frame price was failing to break this low. You know, we had multiple points of price kind of came into this region, and we failed to kind of break below. So for me, the initial trade was purely, right, okay, I'll take partials over here, which again was still like 80 plus pips that I managed to catch, and then I've left like 30%, and I've moved my stops to break even. Now if price, I understand this is a 15-minute area of supply, you know, I'm seeing if I can take my entire trade position all the way up to this point. Now if price comes back down to my entry and stops me out, then that's fine, I've still secured 70%. But right now, gold is not a pair that we really want to be trading. You know, either going back to this screen, let's just delete this. So we're still, like I said, hovering around this higher time frame demand zone here. We've tapped into it a few times. Now remember, you know, this is building up to be an area of liquidity. So right now, looking at gold, you know, we have a 15-minute. So we did this, came down here. So we have a higher point over here, and we have a low point over here. What I would like to see gold doing is breaching this low pretty comfortably. So price to come down, take out this low, go to the extreme of this. Then what we can do is, because this low has then been taken, it would be this high that took it. So this would be the high and this would be the low. So then we would, if price then held this and had a shift here, then we've had a nice change of character, and we could start to trade the 4-hour pullback, which would mean the current swing high to the current low, and we have this perfect area of supply that's unmitigated with lots of liquidity resting above here. But until that point, gold is just like pretty sideways. If it breaks through, it breaks through, and then we just trade continuations. But right now it's just it's just in a very funny area that is pretty sideways. So trying to trade gold here is pretty crap. Now, obviously, this was my runner. My runner ran to the entire amount on AUD JPY, so I secured 70%. I believe it was up at in this region here. So I had an additional 60 pips on my runner on AUD JPY, which ran pretty nicely. So looking at AUD JPY, you know, the 4-hour pullback is not yet complete. If we see this, we had this high, we had this pullback. This was internal, and then this. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. We had like a very, very minor break above here, very, very minor. But what was the low point that took that? It was this low. This was the lowest point here that caused this previous high to break and create this high. So if we, I'm just going to take this tool off my highlighter. That's it. So if we then look at that and we say, right, okay, this is our current low point, and there's our high point. There's that demand that kind of sits within it. We do have this area of demand where price is kind of bouncing off over here as it stands, but we could see price still coming in further down into this region before we see the next push to the top side. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for, I'd probably say like 3.5 years plus now, full time. So yeah, AUD JPY for me personally, again, right now, nothing. I took that trade. I'm not interested in buying this or shorting this as it sits. You know, we did kind of internally over here have a M15 change. Price came up, then we tapped this, and then we've kind of been sideways. So we could see price pushing off to the top side from this point. We'll just need to wait and see, but price is pretty choppy here. AUD NZD, you could see it perfectly just wicked into this high time frame demand zone and started to push off. So nothing, no trades for AUD NZD until we at least break above this area of supply, have a shift in market structure, see a retracement to continue pushing price higher. And AUD USD, my trade was up until this area of demand, as you could see here, but price has kind of broken through that. Longer term, I was always saying that I was expecting price to head down to 0.64000 based on that aligns with that pullback. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we could perfectly see there's that area of imbalance, there's that level of demand that sits within it. So we could definitely see AUD USD, we had this big expansion in that retracement from here. Then I would definitely be looking for buyers to head back to the top side. So a bit more downside to go on this pair, but we have seen that 4-hour break. So now, do we see a continuation down, or we'll just follow that M15 structure? So we'll just continue following this current M15 that we have was here. We had this massive sell-off. So if you can see like an M5 change, we can look to trade the M15 pullback for now, and then potentially the 4-hour. But overall, longer term, right now, I'm expecting price to head down to that 0.64200, and then from here start looking for longer term longs on this pair. I traded Euro USD yesterday, but it was quite, at least my beginner brain thought it was quite. Yeah, Euro USD was pretty choppy yesterday, to be fair. But again, it's like any pair, it just goes back to, you know, it all depends on your understanding of the market, what your rules and criteria, how you see structure. you know, when you see fit to get involved in a market. There's loads and loads of things to kind of look at, irrespective of how the market is, you know. And that's why I don't specifically, and there's no right or wrong, I don't trade any specific pair personally, because sometimes if you trade only a certain pair and you don't see setups, you can then kind of just get into the markets without your rules aligning, because that is the only pair you really trade and you want to get into the markets. So for me personally, you know, I look at all of the pairs and just narrow down for the week, right, which ones are high probability in terms of the way I trade based on market structure, what I can see, and then just work around those. But yeah, Euro USD was pretty choppy. We'll cover that off. So Euro JPY is in this high time frame area of supply. I'm expecting to see a potential sell-off from here, but again, M15 structure is pretty much still being bullish. We had this high, we had a pullback, we had this high, we had a pullback, kind of created an equal high, and then we had a bit of a shift. So we could see price rolling over, but there's nothing really decisive. It's pretty messy in all fairness. But I think there could be downside from here. You know, if you look at the M5, we had higher high, higher low, higher high. We had this massive wick down, and then we kind of came back up and did this. Well, it's pretty choppy. Not really 100% convinced with this pair as of yet. Now Euro USD, we could see it's pretty close to that daily pullback being complete. You know, if we look at the daily low and the daily high, mitigated that supply. We had a daily breaker structure. We already know prices on a weekly pullback, as we had our weekly break over here. We're on that weekly retracement. So if we're looking at this, there's that level of demand. Price below this is pretty efficient. There's the last area of imbalance. So we could probably expect the 15-minute structure to remain bearish until this point. So currently we have, you know, this was yesterday. We kind of had this choppy price action yesterday, and then price just kind of rolled over. So currently we have our M15 high, and this is the current M15 low. Prior to this, we had this low, this pullback, we had this break below this, we had this massive pullback, and then price broke down here. Now you can see this pullback was like 50 plus pips, 53 pips or something. And now look, if we kind of look at this from the high to the low, we never came back into the, I'm just going to replay this. Nice, Stevie. So you can see this price never came back into, it never tapped that 70 to 79, but what it did do was it had this area of supply which it wicked into. So at this point the pullback was more or less complete, you know, because price above this was pretty efficient. So the next course of price after this was strong high to be protected, weak low to be taken. And that's exactly what price did. You know, it kind of came in, it chopped around this area, sideways consolidation, and then that's it. After that, price just rolled over, because again, this was the weak low, that was the strong high, because we are in that downtrend. So now, like I said, we have our 15 range, which is the high, and so far this is the low. The low can still continue. So you could see even the M5, we kind of have something like this right now. You know, so whether we continue doing this or we get a shift, then probably trade the M15 pullback. But for now, it's pretty messy. Not much to really look at on EU. Come on, gold, can you give me my TP? So GBP CAD, it kind of bounced off that perfect area that I had marked over here. So here's that fib. You could see on an M15, we kind of had this massive push up. We came into this area of demand, reacted to that fib level, and then price just shot off at this point. And then here was the retracement, and then now price is just continuing bullish. So right now GBP CAD, what do we have? You know, if we get the next push up and a pullback, we could start trading the continuation to the top side to mitigate this area of I believe it's daily supply. Yeah, because that's where we kind of had the aggressive selling from. So we definitely could see that, but we need to kind of see the next push to the top side here first. So can we see the next break above, pull back for continuation? Is what I would be looking at. Pound CHF, now I took this trade, kind of covered it previously. This was part of the weekly watch list. I secured like 10R on this trade. So pretty happy with it. So pound USD is coming close to that next higher time frame area of demand. Again, 15-minute. I think we could see we are kind of in that pullback now. This is the current range that we have, M15. What do we have on M5? So there could be some buys here. This is pretty interesting. The only thing is, I would have been a bit more convinced. We had this low, we had a pullback. If this broke the low and then we had a change of character, would have definitely been better. But we have had some momentum kind of kick in, so potential low risk. Maybe like go half risk with this. We've created this demand. We've seen some bullish momentum. We could be trading the M15 pullback here. So if we look at M15, we have unmitigated area of supply, unmitigated area of supply. So that 1.24296 area looks pretty good as like intraday. Set an alert here. So NZD CAD, has anything happened? So yeah, again, this was perfect cookie cutter trade. Part of the weekly watch list again. You know, go back on it. What is this sold off? 227 plus pips from the weekly watch list. You know, inch perfect trade. So now, what's the kind of situation with this pair? It's coming up to this high time frame demand. So we could see potential pullback from here. Now again, like I said before, this is all internal. Now looking like we're going to create the next daily internal breaker structure here. Which kind of sits around this region here. And then this area could act as an area for a pullback. Because again, we've got some strong daily demand in this area of consolidation. Then we had this push up. So currently we could see kind of just creating lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So if we can just keep coming into this and then see a shift, we could look to trade at least some sort of a pullback to fill out a lot of this inefficiency. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame and just look at the current structure that we've got, we had a break over here. You know, say we come to the 50% and we get a change, we could definitely trade this back up into 0.84400. All that inefficiency, that area of supply sits there next, so we could definitely see that happen. So NZDCHF in a pretty nice area, reacted perfectly off that area of supply. We have this demand, again similar kind of thing. Can we see some structural shift within this zone? Let's refine this down. That's the 4H. Demand zone low down here. So yeah, so I'll personally be waiting for 0.54883, and then see, can we see a shift here? Because we've already seen the, again, this is a very minor break in comparable to this shift here, but we have seen a shift, so we could at least see a pullback. We had a daily break here. We could see price heading back up to this area of supply, and even if not there, we still have an unmitigated area of supply here, and we have liquidity above this area, somewhat equal highs, so we could definitely see something like this happening. NZD JPY, it's in that reversal area to continue pushing back to the top side. Now, you know, the only thing you're going to probably keep an eye on is the fact that we could see, you know, these areas act as areas of liquidity if we mark the entire low point to the high. So if we just mark the entire swing, you know, this could act as something like this, purely based on, let's go to the daily. You can see this is a daily area of supply. Now, is price going to come all the way down here? We obviously don't know. We do have lots of inefficiency below, but price should maintain its overall structure over here. Now, this is a higher time frame area of supply. Can we see a shift here? As it stands, you could see on the M15, we've just had this. All of this is internal. So personally, what I'd like to see, can we see this was our pullback. This only becomes our pullback if we can break this low. So can we come down here and then have a shift to start trading this back up? Because right now everything is pretty much sideways. Yes, we had this area of supply. Price kind of poked above it, but it is pretty choppy, pretty sideways at the moment. It doesn't matter what you trade, Jake, to be fair, as long as you have a strategy that kind of works. Like I don't trade crypto as much purely because you know, I prefer the volume of the FX market, and you have better leverage and stuff with FX. But when I do trade crypto, I trade crypto exactly the same way I trade Forex, exactly the same way I trade stocks. indices, commodities. For me, it's all the same. It doesn't really matter what you trade. People have this perception of, even when they're looking at the Forex, FX market, oh, that you need a certain strategy to trade Euro USD, or you need a certain strategy to trade a different pair. Now, each to their own, but not for me. I trade everything, irrespective of what it is, in the same manner. So it doesn't really matter. So whether you're a beginner or not, whether you like to trade, it doesn't matter whether you like to trade stocks, crypto. The only difference, like I said, is the FX market, you have more leverage, so it's a lot easier with less capital to trade. But obviously, on the flip side, that comes with more risk, because higher leverage, just you could blow an account very easily as well. So USD JPY, it's sitting in this high time frame 4-hour supply zone. Now overall, like I said, I'm only expecting this to act as a area for a potential H4 pullback, like I've already preemptively marked here. Now, whether that happens or not, it's a different situation. I'm just preemptively planning it, but we obviously need the M15 to shift. So right now, price is just bullish. There's nothing in it. Even the M5, you could see, like, where's the M15 low? The M15 low is here. That was the pullback, and then we had this big push to the top side. Now even within this, the 5-minute structure is bullish. Higher low, higher low, higher low. This is all internal. We then have this, and then we just continue pushing higher. So there's not much there to trade as of yet. US 30 just didn't want to come far up enough into that supply, and then it kind of sold off, which is fine. So as I said before, I was expecting price to head down towards this 30,400 region on this daily pullback. Now, do we continue seeing that happen? We'll need to wait and see. The 4-hour structure, it's been pretty messy, because we had this break, we had a pullback, we had this break, we had this pullback to the extreme, and then we started to shift bearish again. Because you could see this was the highest closure candle that caused the next breaker structure, so price never came as high as that, and then it kind of rolled over. So now we kind of have this range, this current impulsive leg, but price is just so choppy and messy. So I'm not really interested in US 30 at all. Now AUD CAD is in this area of demand. We have this demand, but we have a demand that sits quite a bit lower than this. So do we come down into this region? We'll need to wait and see. Gonna delete this for now. So as it stands, you can see we had this break here, 4H break. Had this minor pullback, and then we start to continue pushing down. So we currently have this demand that we're in, and then you can see we have further areas of demand at the base of this. But for now, we have our 4-hour high. This needs to go from here as well. Just the brush tool, 4-hour high and 4-hour low. So pretty choppy, but everything is still just bearish, you can see. So unless we get some strong momentum pushing towards the other direction, we could just see price continuing bearish up until these lower areas of demand. AUDCHF, interesting. So we had, now again, I was looking at this area, but we just never got a decisive break above here. You know, because if we look at this, we had this flush down. This was internal because it failed to break this low. This is just pretty choppy, and we don't really have any clear defined demand here. So currently, what are we? We're just kind of consolidating in this region. I do overall think we have upside to this, but again, another one, I would like to see a shift out of this consolidation. We are in that key area of reversal. But we need to wait for lower time frame to shift bullish. You know, can we get the last real pullback we had was kind of here. Then we had a breakdown, and then we just been sideways. Can we get a break out of that and then come back and then start pushing back to the top side will be the question. But we are in that area of reversal back to the top side. CAD CHF, not much is happening with that. Same thing with CHF JPY. Euro CAD as well, pretty much just. Let's get the 4 hour, what is this? GJ is happening. GJ is just horrible. Yeah, let's leave GJ alone. Alright guys, any pairs, any questions anyone has? If so, I'll happily stay on. Otherwise, nice short 1 hour 48 minute stream. I'll jump off and enjoy the rest of my day, I guess. Alright, well, have a good day everyone. Enjoy your day, trade safe, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.